Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to show you one of my newer Rex Begonias, and I also wanted to explain what I've been experimenting with in order to keep them healthy and thriving in potting soil, potting mix. That's right, because everybody knows I don't like soil. That is how that whole yarn situation came about, which they're all doing great. Especially that one. Look at that, that's going crazy. But yeah, I wanted to experiment to see what I could do to get this soil thing to work for me in this grow room because there's very little air circulation. I have a fan on all day long. It's very humid, but it's like dank humid and still air. So I said, all right, let me experiment. I mean, I know ways to prevent root rot when using soil. So I decided to try some things out, and I think I came across something that might actually help some of you guys that have similar problems, because I know a lot of people have challenges, especially with Rex Begonia. So, isn't this beautiful though? I believe this is a Jurassic series green streak. It wasn't labeled, but that's exactly what it looks like when I've done my research. And it's beautiful, and I have it under lights, and it's starting to bloom. Looks like it's a red bloom. Really, really cool. I can't wait for that to open. And the leaves are beautiful. Really, really pretty, and very sturdy and thick. It's so funny because the reverse side of Rex Begonia leaves always looks similar. No matter what the top surface looks like, it always has that green and red kind of veination thing going on. But anyway, I really love this plant, and it's very, very strong and resilient. And all right, so getting to what I'm working on now. They always say, and by they I mean, everyone that talks about soil and root rot and everything, that perlite, any airy, light mixture is very good for plants, indoor plants, because it helps keep the soil from compacting and creating root rot, holding too much moisture. I completely agree with that. I completely agree with that. But for me, what I've noticed, yes, definitely a lot of perlite. See, there's a lot of perlite mixed in there in this mix. But for me, for Rex Begonias in particular, if I'm going to put them in soil, what has been working for me is not just amending with extra perlite. I have a whole bag of perlite. And sometimes I do 50-50 mix. Sometimes I do even a little more perlite than soil, but that dries out way too quickly, which is fine because the plant will let you know it needs to be watered. It'll start to wilt, and it will kind of cry out to you, water me. So that's fine. But if you're not going to do that much and you're just going to amend the soil with perlite, let's say you do 1/3 perlite, 2/3 soil, or even 50-50, that's fine too. What I have been doing, which seems to be working for me, is keeping the pot very small. Like this plant is, let me get back here so you can see, it's pretty large. You can see the leaves go out pretty far. I am keeping it pot bound, root bound. I'm keeping it in a small plastic pot because the plastic pot will hold some moisture. It won't dry out too quickly, but the fact that it is root bound in the smaller pot, it will drink up the water a lot quicker. And I don't have a wick system. I let the water drain through down to the bottom, and then I either dump it out or I just leave a little bit to keep the bottom soil where the holes, the drainage holes in the pot. I keep it humid in there in case the roots want to grow down into the solution, which is fine. But small pot, with a lot of perlite or something to make it airy and fluffy. I'm sure you can use pumice. You could probably use small lava rock, even sand, playground sand, whatever you want to call it, sandbox sand. But and a plastic pot, because if you have a small pot and it's terracotta, that's going to dry out really quick, and your plant's going to be like this, and it's going to be asking to be watered, and it'll only survive that so often that it eventually will keel over. But yeah, so far so good. I have one, two, three, about 4 different Rex in this type of setup with a small pot. This is a 4-inch with a very large plant in it, and it dries out, you know, relatively quickly. I'm not going to say dries out in like a day or two. It'll take a few days to dry out. But even when it dries, like the top surface is completely dry, the plant has not been wilting. And I'm thinking because in the bottom of this cup, that is what you would call, I guess, the reservoir, it's keeping humidity on the bottom portion of the pot. And I guess a lot of the roots are probably growing towards the bottom of the pot if they haven't already. And it's keeping them hydrated with the humidity. So far so good. I haven't had any issues. I haven't had any casualties. I haven't had any rotting. The plant is very strong and sturdy. All of these plants that I have in this setup. So I'm, you know, it's kind of promising, and I'm very excited. I'm not going to say that I'm going to stop using the acrylic because, let me just bring this over. As you can see, some of these plants are just doing extremely, extremely well. Look at this. This was a leaf cutting water propagation. If you've been following, you know, you're familiar with this one. I'm not even sure the cultivar, but I know it's a very beautiful pink, frilly Rex. It's starting to grow over the lip of this bowl, and I just water it when the top of the acrylic yarn is dry to the touch, but the roots are all growing throughout. Let's see if I can find some roots. Can't really find any. I don't know why. I thought I did. Maybe not. But they are happy. They're very happy. So as you can see, this definitely works. And every propagation that I have put in this setup has done equally well. There's another one. This one here has been a while. This one there was just transplanted last week, I believe. This one's beautiful. This one's pink shades, doing really well. Got new leaves coming up. Another one doing well. So, oh, and this one, the Fedora. These were the 3 leaf cuttings that I put in water, and the plants were growing from the top surface of the leaf, doing very, very well. They're growing nice and big. You can see against my hand the size of them. So I'm not going to stop doing that process and using that medium because it's working. If it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? That's what they always say. And who is they anyway? But I definitely enjoy growing in that medium. It's very clean, no fungus gnats. I can keep that medium as moist as I want. I don't have to wait for it to completely dry out if I don't want to. I don't leave like half of the reservoir full or anything like that. You can see there's condensation in there. But we got a new leaf growing. Yeah, I definitely keep the nylon, polyester, or acrylic nice and damp, and they do extremely well. They do well in this. So yeah, I just want to share this other experiment I'm doing with actual soil this time, because I know a lot of people don't want to try or don't believe in using something like the yarn, and they want to use the soil, and they want to propagate in soil, but they're having such a challenge. And I always did too, always did, but not anymore. So far, so good. The next thing I'm going to try doing is propagating, probably this leaf I'm going to pull. It's an older leaf. I'm going to try propagating this leaf by, cutting the petiole off, cutting the leaf stem off, and planting a cone cutting into soil that's like this with a lot of perlite, and see how that works out. I'll probably video that as well. But anyway, that's all. If you have any questions about this and what I'm doing in this experiment to figure out what works best here, please just reach out as usual. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to be notified, and I will see you in the next video.